So today we are going to start decimals and fractions. We will be learning how to convert decimals into fractions, fractions into decimals, and learning how to put fractions and decimals in ascending or descending order. So first, converting a decimal to a fraction. What you're going to do, we're going to look at these two fractions just for example. 0.23, which is 23 hundredths. What we do is we locate the number that is furthest to the right in the decimal, and then we label that particular place value. So in this case, the 3 is in the hundredths place. So we are going to use a denominator of 100. Hundredths means 100 is in the denominator. And then we can use the full number that is after the decimal as our numerator. So we can call these things the same. 23 hundredths, 23 hundredths. Now in this particular one, 0.7, that is 7 tenths. So we look at the number or the place value that is furthest to the right after the decimal. It is tenths. So we will be writing a 10 in the denominator. Tenths is tens in the denominator. Then we can use our full number in the numerator. So both of these are read 7 tenths. Now let's go the opposite way. 3/4. We want to convert that to a decimal. And as we have learned before, the fraction bar can also be interpreted as a division problem, a division line. So we always know that the top number goes inside the box. The denominator, the lower number, goes outside the division box. Now we have a whole number inside and a whole number outside. But we notice that in this problem, our number inside the box, or our numerator, is less than the denominator. So we always assume that there is a decimal point after that number. Now we've learned in previous lessons, what we do is we move that decimal point up. So now we can start dividing. 4 goes into 3 0 times. We can't put it into 3. We multiply 0 times 4, and then we subtract. Now what we do is we start adding zeros at the end, because we know that we can add as many zeros at the end of that decimal as possible. It doesn't change the value. So let's put 1 0 there, see if that helps us. We're going to bring it down. 4 goes into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28, and we will subtract. 30 minus 28 is 2. Well, we can still keep dividing. We're going to add another 0 and bring it down. So now we ask 4 going to 20, and that is 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20, and we're now at a 0. When we're at a 0 and have no more numbers, we are done. So 3/4 can be written as 0.75 or 75 hundredths. Let's look at this mixed number. So we have a whole number and we have a fraction. Let's convert this fraction portion into a decimal. So as we did here, we know that a fraction is just a division problem with the numerator inside the box and the denominator outside the box. So we know that we can put a decimal point at the end of this and move it up. 3 goes into 2 0 times. 0 times 3 is 0, and we subtract. So now we're not done yet. So we're going to start adding some zeros. I'm going to add that one there. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. Okay, we're still not done. Let's add another 0 and bring it down. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. We're still not done yet, so let's add another 0 and bring it down. 3 goes into 20 6 times. Can you see the pattern? I don't think we're ever going to finish. We're always going to get 2 here. We are always going to get 6 up here. So you can see what we call this is a repeating decimal. Repeating decimal. So a number or a series of numbers keep repeating to infinity. So we can write this 2 different ways. We can write this as 0.666, and then we can put 3 dots. We could do that. The better way to do that is to write 0.6, and then we put a bar over what is repeating. So this is a shortcut way of saying 0.6666666666666. Okay. Now let's go back to our original problem. We needed to turn 5 2/3 into a decimal. So we've got the decimal part of it. We've got the 2/3 part. So now we can write this as 5, that's our whole number, 0.6 repeating. And then finally, we are going to learn how to put numbers in order. Say they have decimals and fractions mixed up, and we want to say which is the least, which is the greatest, put them in order. So the best thing to do is to put them all in either all fractions or all decimals. Let's do it all to decimals. Since we have 2 decimals here, we have 1/5. Let's change 1/5 into a fraction or into a decimal. So 1 divided by 5, because it's a division problem. I'm going to add my decimal and bring it up. 5 goes into 1 0 times. Subtract. Then I'm going to add a 0 here and bring it down. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. I got a 0 and there's no more numbers. So 1/5 is the same as 0.2. Now I can look at these 3 decimals and see which one is the least, which one is the biggest. So 0.2 is the least, and then 0.37, and then 0.5. But then we have to go to the original problem. The original problem asks to put 1/5 in there. So we're going to label that as 1/5, 0.37, 37 hundredths, and then 5/10. So this would be the answer to our problem, putting these particular numbers in order from least to greatest.